Learning to use a knife properly is so important because we use the knife in practically any form of cooking. Now, customers who know how to use the knife properly are really helpful in the kitchen and really partake more in the whole cooking process. And if you look in front of me here, I have two different size knives. The bigger one is an 8-inch chef knife, which is good for just about any form of a cooking process. The smaller one right here is about 4.5-inch to 5-inch chef knife. Now, the bigger one can be a little intimidating for those who are learning to cook and cut for the first time, so the smaller one can be a lot easier to use. And the whole thing about doing this is to keep yourself safe, so let's go ahead and get the process started. Now, when it comes to cooking, the main thing you want to pay attention to is safety. When cutting, you want to always make sure that your fingers are kept away from the blade. So the way to do that is to curve your fingers under like so, and this is the way you're going to hold the object that you're cutting. This keeps your fingertips away from the knife blade. Okay, so when we're cutting an onion, the easy way to cut the onion, like I said, you're going to hold it like so, and we're going to cut down slowly. I cut one end of the onion like so, and you see how I kind of just pushed away to help start getting the peel off. And then I'm going to turn the onion around, and I cut the other side. And you notice I'm trying to keep the blade away from my fingers, and I'm cutting away. All right. Then I'll put the onion down like so. And I cut down. Always make sure that you are doing this carefully. Next, it's easy to peel the onion off just like this. We take the skins off. Now our onion is ready to be cut either way. You could either cut it into bite-sized pieces, or you can cut it into slices. Now, if I'm going to do slices, I'm going to make sure I cut away from my body and just cut forward slowly. And you notice my fingers are nicely curled under. And now we have nice little slices of onion, like so. Now you notice my hands are dry. You always want to make sure your hands are nice and dry, and make sure the surface that you're cutting on is not slippery. Now if I want to cut the onions into little bite-sized pieces or chopping them, what I'll do, I'll open my hands like so and cut across like this. Now I'm going to go back and hold the onion just like so with my fingers curved, and then I'll cut down. Always watch what you're doing. Keep your eyes on what you're doing. Now I've made these little slits, and then I'll cut down like so. And always keep in mind that a sharp knife is a lot safer than a dull knife. Now you have nice little cut pieces of onion. Always remember, safety first. And once your customers are nice and comfortable with cutting in the kitchen, they're going to be very helpful in preparing the meals. Now, a very useful knife to have in the kitchen is a long serrated knife like this, or a knife that has little teeth, if you can see it. A knife like this is very useful because it helps you to cut your item in nice long strokes. A knife like this is also great not only just for bread, but you can also use it in meats such as roast beef and so forth. So now I'm going to give you a quick demo of how to cut with using a serrated knife. Now, the perfect way to cut bread is to first of all, remember to curve your fingers under like so. Hold your bread firmly, and you're going to slowly put your knife right in the bread and just cut forward like this, and then cut backward. And you notice I've cut the bread in 2 easy strokes. Let's do this one more time. I'm holding the bread firmly with my fingers curved under. Now I just cut forward like so, and then I just cut backward. And here you have it, like so. When on a tight budget, there is no better tool to have in the kitchen than the scale. The scale allows perfect budget control and portion control. In other words, the scale allows you to measure your food properly so it can taste good, It also permits you to give the right portions of food. Now, buying the scale is pretty simple. You can purchase a scale pretty much anywhere from your Walmart to Target or Beds Bath & Beyond. Selecting the scale, you want to make sure you have a scale that has a good base to it. And then we'll have the numbers. Now, the larger numbers represent the pounds, the smaller numbers represent the ounces. And on top of the scale is the platform. This is where you're going to put your plate or the item that you're going to measure right on top. So now let me show you how to use the scale properly. Now, using the scale can be done in a few easy steps. So the first thing you want to do is go ahead and put the empty container right on the scale, like so. Now, if you have a digital scale, this process is going to be a little bit different. So you will, it's still called zeroing out the scale, but you won't have a dial. So then I'm going to turn my knob right here like so. I'll put this right on 0. So this means the empty container is at 0. Now let's say I want to measure about 3 ounces of cooked rice. I'll go ahead and get my brown rice, and then I will spoon it right into my empty container. And there we have it. If you notice, the dial is right there, right on the 3. So now we have 3 ounces of cooked brown rice. Now, the other way of doing this is to actually put plastic wrap right on the scale as opposed to using the container. Well, the advantage of using the plastic wrap is that it doesn't weigh anything, so you won't have to zero out the scale. Now, I don't recommend putting any food items directly on the scale because it will have some bacteria on it, and we don't want to spread any bacteria.